I'm gonna ask ChatGPT the greatest AFL player debates. Now, I've done this on a video before with ChatGPT, and we're gonna go through some of the players once again. So, as it's loading right now, we have a different look as we did last time. Starting off, Gary Ablett Sr. versus Wayne Carey. I think, unfortunately, you gotta go Wayne Carey, which is funny because, you know, I'm not gonna comment on his character. As a player, probably Gary Ablett Sr. didn't win a flag, unfortunately, so can you go with him? Just leaning towards Carey. Dangerfield, Dustin Martin now, Dustin Martin in the future, Dustin Martin before, Dustin Martin big games, Dustin Martin prime, Dustin Martin success. It's always Dustin Martin, come on. Lee Matthews, Chris Judd. Lee Matthews, don't know why that's a debate. Tuck versus Kevin Bartlett. I think probably KB. I'm a Richmond fan, so I have more sort of knowledge on KB as well. Obviously, everyone knows Tuck. You know, he did play the most AFL games. I think he still has it over Robert Harvey. Obviously, Bartlett played a lot, but he was a great player for Richmond. Lockett versus Dunstall. That's Lockett every day of the week. Richo versus Jonathan Brown. Brown has the flags, but Richo has the performances. I'm taking Richo. If you had to choose one of the players to play for the next 15 years for your club, I would rather Richo. Not many players, if any, can say, you know, at the ripe age of 34 or whatever he was, they can go from being a forward line player his whole career, full forward, go onto the wing, and nearly win a Brownlow. So close. Gary Ablett Jr. versus Nat Fife. Gary Ablett Jr. I think that's relatively conclusive and simple. Sam Black versus Dane Swan. Black did it for longer, and I think Black was probably better on his day. Obviously, Dane Swan was a captivating figure in the AFL industry, but Simon Black, you've got to respect what he did. So let's ask for AFL team versus team debates, because we've had player versus player. Now I want to see what happens if I search up team versus team debates. Okay, we have got Essendon 2000 versus the Brisbane Lions from 2001 to 2004. The longevity of the Lions, making 4 grand finals in 4 years, winning 3 of them. You have to respect that, but that 2000 season, Essendon, I think they lost 1 home and away game all season, and they dominated the final series. Probably, I think they are definitely the greatest team in the 21st century, that Essendon team. But the fact they've only won the 1 flag and the Brisbane dominance, I guess you've got 2 different arguments there. I think because Brisbane won 3 and Essendon only got the 1 year, you had to go for Brisbane. But let me know. That's a good one. Who would you take? Hawthorn 88 to 91 or Geelong 07 to 11? A lot of success for Hawthorn in that era. They were the team to beat. Where I think Geelong in 07 to 11, although they won the 3 premierships, St Kilda, Collingwood and Hawthorn were all up around the same place. I would probably take the Hawthorn team of 88-91. Like it says there, Dunstall, Berridon, those types of players. But that's another interesting one. It's always hard to compare 2 different eras, like, you know, have an old epoch and a recent epoch and those different players and teams. It's hard to compare who would win. Now, Richmond 17 to 20 versus Eagles 99 or 91 to 94. Now, the Eagles did not win 3 premierships in that era. I'll tell you that for free, where the Tigers did. Now, I'm taking the Tigers. Why? So many debates on this Richmond dynasty. Richmond coming from losing in the last round in 2016 by over 100 points to Sydney the year after, a triumphant win for the flag. In 2019, we went from halfway through the season, we were 9th on the ladder, outside the 8, and we come storming home, we dominate the flag then. The best flag you will ever see from a team is the COVID flag. Let's talk a debate here. People say, oh, put an asterisk next to the fucking premiership win they got because it's COVID. It jars me out. I understand the argument. They played less games, blah, 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 blah. They won a grand final away from Victoria, playing at the Gabba, completely neutral ground for both Geelong and Richmond. The fact that they had to endure the longest season ever in history, because it started when it was meant to start and a massive break and it ends in October or whatever, is remarkable. All the lockdowns, all the, you know, have to stay inside, the mental battles. Damien Hardwick said whoever won the premiership that year thoroughly deserves it, and it shows that they are the greatest team mentally, physically. The challenges in that COVID year teams had to go through was monumental, and Richmond, what they went through, they deserved it, and for that I'm taking Richmond. Now, Collingwood in 27 to 30, Carlton 79 to 82. I think, was that when Collingwood won 4 in a row? Yep, they won 4 premierships in a row. don't even need to think about Carlton. The fact that the only team to ever win 4 in a row means you have to go with that team at the time, unfortunately. Port Adelaide 04 versus Sydney 05. You could really say Sydney 05, 06 and Port Adelaide 04. I'm taking Sydney. They were 2 years, literally a kick away from winning 2 flags in a row. Those 2 grand finals, West Coast, Sydney. What absolute mammoth games they were. Port Adelaide 2004, yes, you beat, Brisbane, but they were an old, aging team and scraping into the grand final there. Now we've got North Melbourne 75 versus Richmond in the 80s. I'm not too sure who was better in these 2 years, so I'm gonna make that void, showing my lack of historical ball knowledge. Eagles 2018, Collingwood 1990. I feel like Collingwood deserved the grand final more in 1990, than the Eagles did in 2018. Obviously, I did watch 2018. Wasn't alive when 1990 was happening, so I kind of watched that. So I would go for Collingwood. All right, and there you have the best debates. Do we have any more? Current AFL player versus player debates. Let's do, 2023, a nice current day. Wow, okay, so its last update was in 2021, but let's go through these. Dustin Danger, Dustin, now or time, already said that. Now, 2023, Neil Petrarca. In terms of it, you got to take track. Got the Brownlow, got the Norm Smith. Not the Brownlow, sorry. He's got the flag, the Norm Smith. That could get the Brownlow this year. Hasn't quite got it yet. Gawn or Grundy. At the time, this would have been a great debate, but obviously Gawn's triumphed Grundy. Hawkins or Cameron. Tom Hawkins, selfless. Right now, obviously Cameron, because Hawkins old as hell. Now, 5 for the Bont. Wow, 5 for the Bont. The Bont's not won a Brownlow, Fife's won 2. The Bont's won a flag, Fife hasn't won a flag. The Bont he's a massive big game player. I think he's a better big game player than Fife is. In terms of their career, I mean, right now, you would obviously take Fife, but he's far ahead of his career than Bontempelli is. Bont's in his prime right now. He's heavily in the Brownlow race this year, as he was last year, the year before, and he will be probably for the next 1 or 2 years. So I would be surprised if he didn't add a Brownlow. I hope he does with the Bont. I think at the end of both their careers, I would probably take Marcus Bontempelli, but both of them are leaders, both tall, similar builds, great marks. In terms of their prime, you have to say Nat Fife. That 2014-15 with the broken leg and stuff like that, all the troubles, he was so unstoppable. Jack Riewoldt, Tom Lynch, Jack Riewoldt, right now Tom Lynch, that's a dumb one. Sarong or Matt Rao. Sarong has absolutely gone way above Matt Rao. Anyway, we're gonna leave it there. That's about it. Thanks for watching. Follow the TikTok, FTFooty. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment what your thoughts are on the debates. Did I go wrong? Especially with the team ones that the 1990s or the ones way back when that I don't remember. Yep, I'll see you in another video.